Hi everybody, it's Deanna with toolsofenergyprotection.com. I hope you're having a great and wonderful day. We're on the countdown of freeing yourself from fear. Today we're in part 4. And we're also just a couple days away from Thanksgiving. So there's a lot of fear that's circulating right now. And in the world news, I see so many people that also have fears and are trying to speak out and they're trying to move forward, and there's lots of conflict. So now is a time to go within and really check your connection with God, Spirit, or Source. These videos I've been doing have gotten so much feedback. And it's so awesome that you're reaching out to me both in the feeds down here to let me know how these are working for you. People are private messaging me, and it's just fabulous. Thank you. Big kisses so much for letting me know that this is helping you in your life. So we were talking about releasing fear from your life. Step number 1 was to monitor what you're putting in your mind, because what goes in is what comes out. And if you ever watch a really scary movie and all of a sudden you find your heart palpitating, it's because of what you're watching. So that is an easy way to know that what goes in affects your body and also affects what comes out. Number 2 is to recognize who you are and who you are not. A lot of times people tell us you have to be this, you have to be this, you have to be this, and we do it and it puts us into fear because it's not congruent or true to who we really are. And the third one was to release doubt and know that if you're walking forward with a plan, you're aware of what you want, you have a desire, and you're moving forward in faith, that the universe will rearrange itself, or if you prefer, God will bring the right people into your life to help you out in the right circumstances and kind of move you into a good direction. And as long as you have no fear that that's happening, then you're going to receive those blessings you've been looking for, and the fear is going to dissipate. Today, I'd like to talk to you about a little bit more of a very particular subject, which seems to have been causing a lot of controversy in my videos. So I wanted to address it today. If you would like to get rid of fear in your life, in paramount, first and foremost, trust God, Spirit, or Source. And you'll hear me use those 3 terms because some people don't always see it the same way, but it's the same energy. And I'm reaching out to one person in particular who responded in my Facebook feed the other day, who told me that I was a godless person and pushing an agenda that wasn't very happy. And that really isn't true. Myself, I work with God, Spirit, or Source, and that's how I have my daily walk every single day. For those of you that haven't been with me for long, I survived a 10-year, or I worked through, if you prefer, a 10-year abusive relationship where I was told every single day I really wasn't worth the dirt on the bottom of somebody's shoe. And it's hard to work through that. It's hard to go through that. But I had the faith that God loved me enough to not want me to suffer in that space. So to overcome my fear, I began to look at myself and saying, what is it that I'm doing? What is it I'm not doing? How come this relationship isn't working for me on the truest level? And what am I learning from this relationship? And I began to work through that. And I walked forward knowing that God did not want me to live in fear in a relationship. It just simply isn't true. There are many places that He tells us in the scriptures to be abundant, to be happy, to be joyful. And that's where I'm coming from, in the bottom of my heart. I have no intention of pushing an agenda that is dark or doubtful or fearful. That's just not who I am. So please know that. If you have any questions, I encourage you to write me an email at deanna@toolsofenergyprotection.com, and I will answer each and every one. If you have other questions, there's a place right down here you can post. If this is on YouTube, there's a place to post comments. If it's on my website, there's a place for comments. Facebook is the best place to contact me because I check those messages, and I promise I will respond to you if you have any questions whatsoever. So my mission, if you will, or my journey in this life was to go through a situation with extreme fear and extreme doubt and work through it to develop myself in a way that I could now be of service to you. And that's my intention. So if you have fear, this series is for you. If you don't have fear, this series is not for you, but I'm glad that you're aboard anyway. So, what I'd like for you to know today is that there are two vibrational frequencies on this planet. One is love and one is fear. And God, Spirit, or Source, or the Divine Creator actually created that energy on this planet to help in the divine plan. And so I'm asking you to raise your consciousness today to know that everything is made or orchestrated by God, Spirit, or Source. That's the world we live in. Hello! And so many people have said, hey, you're doing the devil's work. Really? I am connected into God, Spirit, or Source. I'm looking at the divine plan. I'm looking at what God, Spirit, or Source has made for us. And I'm looking at life and what's happening on this planet and doing the best I can to spread the seeds of joy and happiness and peace and love. And if you really would like to take a look at that, if you're biblically oriented and you're like, hey, wait a minute, I'm not sure what's going on with this lady, what I'd like for you to do is to look up or Google fruit of the Spirit and look at the list of what God tells you directly in the Bible about the fruits of the Spirit. Their love, peace, temperance, joy. Right? And then I'd also like for you to look at the scripture that talks about gifts of the Spirit and what those gifts are. They're there and they exist. And that's where I fit in. In between those two, that's how I do my work. That's how I spread the love or the joy. So I thank you so much for joining me on this series. And please feel free to send me any questions you might have. Who knows, it might end up on a new video. And I'd be glad to share that with you. So to be precise, today the fourth lesson, the fourth step, if you will, in getting rid of fear is to trust in God, Spirit, or Source. The bottom line is to have faith. I used to hear that a lot in the church I grew up in, have faith. And I'm like, well, what is faith? How can I get it? You can't go to the store and take it off the shelf, so how can you have it? How can you possess faith? And I searched for that answer for years. And here's what I finally learned. Faith is not having fear. Faith, for those of you that are mathematical, equals no fear. And if you know that the Creator Source of all loves you unconditionally and is behind you 100% in making positive, uplifting choices where you do no harm to others or yourself, that's a good thing. So the question became the other day, well, if you're telling me to do no harm to myself or others and you exited a bad relationship, didn't that hurt the other person? That's the titchy place. That's where you have to step out on faith and know that there's a divine order to what's happening in your life, and to make sure that you do it in a loving manner as possible. And in fact, the person that I'm no longer with, I have no animosity, no hatred towards. And I took care of that in my heart and made sure the other person knew. It just wasn't a good relationship for us to be in. It wasn't a happy or safe environment for either one of us. So by parting ways, we created a safer, happier environment. And I try to stay out of judgment. That's another thing. Stay out of judgment. Because if you judge yourself, others might judge you. And I believe it says, do not judge others so that you may not be judged, or lest you be judged. So remember, you have your own beautiful journey. I have my own beautiful journey, and so does everyone else. So please stay out of judgment as much as you can. It'll create far less problems for you and for the other person. Sorry, I seem to have gone off on a tangent. The bottom line is today to lessen the fear is to trust in God's Spirit or Source and make sure that divine love is flowing through you and walk forward in faith, which means having no fear. That's it. It's that simple. So we do have 2 more steps because I did promise there were 6. So if you'll tune in again tomorrow, we'll be covering those. Also, it's Thanksgiving, and that's awesome. It means we're going to be with our family. It means we're going to be with our friends, and it also means that lots of fear pops up. Fear of what the relatives might think if I don't have out the good china. Fear, does my food taste any good that I just cooked? All that kind of stuff. Please do the best you can to release it. And tomorrow, I'm going to be announcing 2 opportunities for you to join me. One of them is going to be a meditation, and I'll put that on so that you can come in and connect with Spirit or Source and flush out all the negative energy and fill it with positive. And we'll just do a brief meditation, and I'll put that up, and you can join that if you like. And then I'm also going to do a group energy clearing. And what that means is if you've been feeling bad, you've got some nerves about the holidays, and you'd like to feel more clear and go to the holidays with a happy smile on your face and happiness in your heart, you can join me for that, and I'll give you some more details on that tomorrow. Until then, I love you all. Have a great and wonderful day. And if you have any problems or questions, feel free to write me at Deanna@toolsofenergyprotection.com, or click on the link if you're on Facebook, and you can send me a message, a private message, and I'll be glad to answer as many as I can. Until tomorrow, bye-bye.